As the weather cools down from summer, we go into fall, and what a perfect opportunity to catch big walleye. Why does the fall produce big walleye?
Yeah, it's just one of those things that's a little bit of everything, right? Everybody knows cooling water temperatures, fish preparing for winter, they still have enough temperature and enough metabolism to gain weight, but that is their sole mission, to gain weight. So they are eating, and that's one, why they're the biggest point of the whole season. Two, that's why a lot of anglers see them, because they're feeding more. If they're feeding more, you catch more. But I think it's more to it than that, right? I mean, obviously, you're going to see them bulk up. So I would say your average fish is going to gain probably 20% of their body mass. So they are literally adding a tremendous amount of weight to their overall body on both the male and female side of the species as they prepare for winter. So they are flat out eating. But the big concepts that I look at as an angler, why I take advantage and why a lot of times we see more of these fish in the fall than even we do in the late spring and the post-spawn or summer is the diversity of food, right? So a big walleye that maybe only feeds on shad in the western states or alewives in the Great Lakes or ciscos or whatever it may be, a lot of times through the course of the year, they have a one food source diet, right? They are focusing on one thing and that's all they want. In the fall, when you have to gain 20%, it's like us, right? If you and I had to go gain 20% in a week or a month, we're going to eat everything in sight. Yeah. And that's what a walleye does. So all of a sudden, they're looking at minnow bases. They're looking at suckers, at perch on top of the normal diet. So they're really broadening their overall diet in eating everything, which helps them gain the weight, but also very much gives opportunity to us, which we love to see. And then the amount of time they feed, right? To where normally a big walleye might feed at low light, or maybe it feeds in high noon, or maybe at night, depending on the food source. But when they're taking multiple food sources, it extends the amount of time that they literally feed during the day, giving us as anglers more opportunity. And then probably the last coolest thing about why we catch more, they become a little bit more predictable, right? They're no longer roaming, they're not suspended, they're a little bit more honed in, and we can predict that, and therefore we catch more.
You didn't think this was going to be a science lesson because we just dropped some information on you, but that's what we do, right? You take that information, especially from people that do it every day, and we make it better for us. For you guys too, especially, we want to help you catch bigger and better fish. So with that information, now we can keep going into it. You're talking about bulking up, you're talking about your food sources. I mean, what else is there? Is it's time of day? Is it morning, afternoon?
So that's the thing where I ask everybody to kind of look at their scenario. So if anybody's ever heard me talk or any of this, food dictates everything. So food is the main thing of why you catch these fish and where you catch them. So every fisher is going to be different, but right, one food source, if they're feeding on perch, it's going to be a midday thing, right? Perch aren't super active at night. They spin up the water column. They're harder to catch. So a big walleye feeding on perch is going to be a 9 to 5, midday, high sun. The perch are going to be in the basin, and those walleyes are going to push them up against walls, right? You have a shad forage lake, like the western states. Those shad go basically from the middle water column up to the surface at night to try to gain light, so the walleyes are feeding on that transition period, low light type thing. So every fishery is going to have a different dictation of what time of day and how you approach it, but it's fairly easy to predict, right? Look at your fishery, look at the food source options, look at what's best for their body, what's going to gain them the most weight, and then go in the water, look at where the food is at. Once you find the food, you're going to find the walleyes.
So science and homework. You got to do a little research on your end, but it's going to be worth it. If you want to catch big fish, you got to put in the work. There's a friend of ours who always talks about you can't substitute time in the water, and this is a perfect opportunity, especially when the opportunities are just like that. 30-inch walleye, you can count me in.